Correct.
Hello and welcome. This is Grant Hughes of Grant Hughes Investigates on YouTube. This channel evaluates all aspects of true crime. As you are aware, videos and live streams in this genre often discuss elements of crime that may be disturbing to some viewers. If necessary, take the precautions needed to avoid these feelings. Factual information related to cases is the key to fostering rational true crime discussions. Fortunately, you will find that here. Please hit the like button only once, share the video, and subscribe if you like my content. Thank you very much for watching.
It's a house!
There's mosquitoes the size of bald eagles in that dadgum swamp. 5 brain cells, 4 aren't working. Have you lost the last 3 brain cells, or do you just have cabbage for brains? Stupid is being nice. You're an absolute moron.
That was perfect the way that was. Oh, man. I mean, could that have been any better right there? You're stupid as being nice. You're an absolute moron. Yeah, we had another Karen in my comments today. I'm sorry. Let's see, what did they say underneath my last night's show? Let's see. What was it? I gotta go find it. Let's see, under the last night's show, somebody wrote, "Your political opinions kill my interest in watching your channel." I said, that's too bad. So stupid. I mean, it's just, see, that's what sucks right now, is that somebody can't think differently. It's just unbelievable, you know? And so I don't really care if you want to leave because I don't think the same way you do politically, then you're an idiot, all right? So that's just the way it is. It's okay, I mean, you know. All right, anyways, I was on CourtTV this evening. I don't usually tell people, hey, I'm on CourtTV, because I don't know, just the added feeling of like pressure, you know, I just go do it. But I was on CourtTV regarding the DoorDash driver. I was only on one segment, but I thought it was pretty good, you know. I thought it was pretty good. I thought you know, I got to speak 3 times. That was pretty good. And you know, I brought in all kinds of different stuff. One thing it was interesting to me was that on all the segments, everybody seems to think that she saw his face and everything. I mean, I know they're close and everything, but I don't think I'm not sure she says specifically she saw his face. So although she calls him Brian and things like that, I mean, I'm really interested to see what she heard. Yeah, I like Vinny. I mean, see, Vinny is, I understand him completely. Like, he's just, I mean, imagine having to have a grasp of like 17 million different cases, and, you know, they just do what, you know, what is interesting to people. What I was trying to convince the guy is, let me switch over and use my map. Okay, because I can really show it on there, and they just don't allow that. And I just think somebody out there, if you have one of these, you know, the bigger, you know, Law and Crime, or, you know, CourtTV even, or whatever, if you guys finally would allow people to, or at least me, to use my map and show things, I think that would be a huge benefit for people watching out there. But anyways, it sounds like there's a ceasefire coming up here in versus Iran and Israel. I mean, I don't think you could have planned a more well-run, perfectly executed event. You know, I mean, this is incredible. what happened here? Like, if this is truly a ceasefire and it's long lasting, it's incredible. All right. And you know, eventually somebody will give credit where the credit's due. But not now. You know, everything's so polarized and shitty that you're just not going to hear it. But hey, guys, we're doing another show tonight, and we're starting the show off again at 0 again. Even though we're into the show, you would think we used to have it where people were already helping support the channel when the show starts, because you guys know what we're up against this month. This month we're only at 50% of last month, but we are only a week left. That's pretty bad. All right, so if you're out there and you have the ability to help support the channel, maybe, you know, instead of, you know, piling in tens of thousands of dollars on live streamers talking about the Middle East over and over and over again that don't need it, this channel does. So I would appreciate it if you guys could help support the channel. That'd be awesome. Yeah, I mean, you're talking about, and what happened was Iran was getting really close. They already enriched. They didn't need to. So I guess, for example, when you're using, you know, for power, it doesn't have to be anywhere near 60%. And they were already at 60%, and then that gets them close to being able to enrich to 90%, where you can do a nuclear bomb. And that was something that Israel and Trump have always said. Every leader that the United States has ever had has said Iran is not going to be allowed to have a nuclear weapon. All right? And so Israel, obviously in coordination with the United States, we've known that the whole time, even though they didn't say it that way, that Israel went in and just totally clandestinely even built a drone factory in Iran, I mean, so it could be even closer. And they used that to initially take out some of the air defenses and take out the generals, and then they went after the nuclear scientists, and then they went after, and they just started systematically taking out even the launchers, etc. Then, let's see. Then after all that was done and all the, you know, complete air superiority, then the United States was able to come in with B-2 bombers and level the nuclear power plants. You know, one thing that's sort of interesting is how quickly Iran has been like, okay, yeah, we'll do a ceasefire. It makes you nervous. I mean, I want to know I want to see the actual damage of, like, are they sure that they destroyed the plants? Thanks, Alley Cake. Apparently you were the only one that heard what I said. Yet again. It seems like Alley Cake's the only one that, when I say, hey guys, if you guys could please help support the channel, that's the one. So thank you. Anyways, I think it's just incredible. And then there's a ceasefire coming up, and there you go. And the thing is this was the right thing to do. I know that if you're really a politically oriented person and you hate Trump because you're a Democrat, you're going to say it was illegal and all this bull crap. But if Biden had done the same thing, you'd all be applauding like he's the greatest president in the history of mankind and he was so courageous, etc., etc., etc. That's just the truth. That's how polarized we are right now. It sucks. Okay? It was an incredibly well-run, deceptive campaign. Oh yeah, and he was supposed to go to Congress and get it approved. Do you think that would have been secret? Give me a freaking break. And every single president has launched attacks in the interest of the United States without getting congressional approval over and over and over again. Obama did it 1,000,000 times. Biden even did it. So, you know, just quit complaining, all right? You know, look for something else. You know, find the next Russia collusion or something. Yeah. Awesome. So anyways, I was on CourtTV tonight. I was on with Mike King. He's a cool dude. We've had him on here. He's got a book, by the way, a new book out. Remember Profiling Evil, Mike King? He's got a book called wolves, and I think it's, what's the full name? It's hard to read it. It says wolves and then a really small in sheep's clothing. A practical guide for true crime enthusiasts. Learn how predators select their victims. Interesting. Thanks, K-Me. Yeah, she's trying to do an impeachment. That's just not gonna fly, man. I mean, it's just, But it wouldn't surprise me. The Democratic Party is really anti-Israel. They've been that way for a very long time, and so it wouldn't shock me at all. And if you say that's not true, it just is. Okay. It just is. Your meds make you crazy. That's awesome. I don't know what that means. Yeah, but anyways, what the thing that it seems like they've all come up with, like every guest, like Howard Blum was on there, the guy that wrote When the Night Comes Calling or something, the book. He was on there, and then there's a former FBI person, and they all seem to say that this DoorDash driver somehow is able to identify the person there as being Brian Kohberger. But I didn't see that in any of the, I didn't read that in any of the comments that she made. Did you guys? She said that she parked next to him, and that might give her a good look. But was she actually able to say, "Hey, yeah, that's the same guy"? I mean, that would be a pretty big deal. But truthfully, the case is incredibly strong without the DoorDash driver. Like, you don't need the DoorDash driver in the case. It's just one of those things. Like, even if you just use her as a timeline reference, And I think she's an interesting person there because she's the reason that the DoorDash driver. She's the reason that Kohberger changed up the way he was driving around. He comes in, he sees her, he's leaving. I really, what's funny is every time I come up with it, I really feel solid about when she saw him. I'm never really, then a few minutes later, I'm like, I don't know, is that really the thing? It's strange, because all it would take would, hey, thanks, only Chevys. All it would take would be the DoorDash driver sitting there for 7 extra minutes after delivering the DoorDash. And she would actually see him if he parked down low there, not in the back. If he parked down low for an easy exit, she would have seen him actually doing blood spatter mitigation, etc. And maybe, but why would he park there if the same car that had just pulled up was there? That's the thing. So for me, it seems most logical that the third pass around like 3:58 is the time that the DoorDash driver saw Kohberger. I just think the wording when she said, "I parked right next to him," isn't correct. I think it's more, it's kind of dark. You've seen it when I turned off my lights in that one video. It's pretty dark there. Yeah, but if he had his lights on inside of his car, or, when she got out to deliver the food, he's not there anymore. So we can throw that out. When she got out of the car, even if it's at 3:59 or it's 3:59:46 when the key fob sounds, or it would be a little after that, because you don't hit the key fob when you're in the car. You hit it as you're walking away. You click it to lock it, so that's like 4 or 5 seconds. Right, so that would be more like 3:49 and 50 seconds when that clicks. And then, somebody else also commented again today that, that's totally true, Gray. You can say you delivered it and then get out and go over and set it down. And then you take the picture, but then isn't the picture the same time? I don't know, man. There's an arrived and a delivered. So we still got to wait to get the answers of what that database is showing. Is it showing the arrival time? Is it showing the delivered time? What is that showing? Yeah, we already got that one, T-Moral. Yeah. What do you mean more? There's just that one, right? The one on the screen right here, right? There's 2 times right here. Right? These 2 shots right here. I mean, I don't know if you've been around for, you probably haven't watched for 3 or 4 days. There are more new videos. What do you mean, man? Like multiple videos, all kinds of videos. Yeah, what we have so far is this.
Rated mixture.
You what?
I'm supposed to testify against Brian next year.
Brian?
Yeah, we have them right here, T-Moral. Is there a different one than these 2? If there are, send me the link. Just telling me about it doesn't help at all. You know, I don't know what you're doing.
I killed all the girls over in Moscow.
Well, this won't change any of that.
The line on my Reck.
I think they would be more concerned about the drug use than the DUI, Molly.
And now I have to testify. Partner case too, so yeah, because I'm a DoorDash driver, so yeah.
You have to testify in which murder
Murder
case?
case with the college girl.
Oh.
My DoorDash driver, I saw Brian there.
DoorDash driver saw Brian near the house.
Right next to him.
Parked right next to him. See, that's like kind of like the key line. If you trust that that's what she's saying, then he was already parked, and that means she would have got there at like 3:57:50, and he had just parked, and she comes pulling in. But then, you know, if you were to believe some of these other channels that say she saw him looking into Xana's window, well, that's just that doesn't make any sense. Because he's only parked for 36 seconds. If another car pulled in, wouldn't that draw his entire attention? Yeah. What do you mean? What's going on in those videos? Is it the same stop and everything, or what? Just send me an email with it, T-Moral. Man, it's just like so frustrating. It's right there. There's my email. Just send me something. I don't know what that is. I mean, is it just the same thing though? Like, hey, yeah, I saw him, or is there more detail in it? I can just play the audio. I was on the television version of CourtTV, so it'll probably be out tomorrow. And you'll see, if you go over there, you'll see I get so much hate, it's almost mind-boggling. And you know what sucks is none of you guys go over and or counter the hate. You know, it's like just hate, and no, like, oh, hey, man, that's bullcrap. You know, that's probably the more frustrating part. Maybe you guys just don't want to get involved. I think when she pulled in, he pulled off to wait till after she left. Hard to say. What I think is that it's not what she said. I think she was actually parked before he drove by. I think she got there at like 3:56 something, and she's parked there, and he drives by, and then when he parks, he's right there, and then he drives away, and she was watching him the whole time. So that would actually, you know, if he came in and there was a car there, yeah, maybe her lights weren't on. You know, I don't think you would leave your lights on at night, 4 in the morning. Maybe you'd wake up the people in the house. So maybe you turn off your car or something, and, you know, and then she's already there and he drives by. No, you guys watch the videos, Daphne. Pay attention, Daphne. Everybody watches them when they're on CourtTV YouTube channel. It's in the comments after they post the YouTube videos. They don't post the video. They're not videos yet. That was just on the television program. Yeah, so in the comments, they just absolutely, you know, the trolls, the haters. Oh, God, I'm never watching again because you have gray on. Oh, I'm never doing this. And I'm really the only one that puts out the accurate information. Yeah, I think she saw him, like the car and somebody in the car. But the only way she would have seen him really well is if somehow, you know, like he had his window rolled down or it was kind of lit there, because he had sort of these mildly tinted windows. So I'm not really sure. But at 4:07 or 4:08, if she was still there, you know, about 9 minutes later. Yeah, you probably should, Daphne. Probably should. Maybe come back a little later. Let's see. Now she pulls in, her headlights hit her broadside, and she pulls in. Huh? Jesus. When she pulls in, her headlights hit him broadside, and she pulls in. What? If she parked as we think, her lights hit him broadside as she pulls in. Maybe. Nah, maybe not, because it's higher, right? I mean, the thing is he's higher in the air. So if he was parked up here, it's probably like 5 feet higher than there. So then she comes around. I mean, regardless, he would have seen her. But what if, you know, this car, the DoorDash driver, came in earlier, and he's not even there yet. So hold on. See, that's the thing is, you know, we don't know how this all played out currently. Because if you look at the timeline, Koberger came in, so like she could have been like 20 seconds behind him. Koberger comes in at 3:56:24. A vehicle matches the description heading south on King Road. And then he goes back behind 500 Queen Road, and it takes him, you know, so from that point to there, that's a minute 3. So she could have been right behind him at 3:56:10 or something, and then pulled into that parking spot at 3:56:30, and then he comes around, and then at 3:57:50 or 3:57:40, he parks right down there next to her, and she's like looking at him. And then he pulls away 30 seconds later and heads away to high rate of speed, and then she delivers at 3:59, and then I mean, I guess I should put that in there. I don't know. It's weird. I just do the key fob sounds, but I could put like, you know, 3:59, and then yeah, it's all the same. DoorDash listed as delivered. I mean, it says that in the document. Hold on. I'm not sure, is that right? That should only be like 4 seconds there. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll just delete that and add it later. It's too complicated right now. But hey guys, we're currently into the show, and we're 1/20th of the goal currently. So if you guys are out there, if you could please consider supporting the channel. It's the only way the channel makes an income during these live streams. There is no ad revenue. At the end of the month, I donate thousands of dollars to various true crime related charities. This month we are currently at half of last month with only a week left to go. So really we're not doing as well as last month, I can tell you that. So if you guys like what I do, I just sort of need for the channel, you guys to be supporting the channel on a nightly basis. So here we are, just struggling mightily into the show. All right, let's see. Why are you doing all caps, Andy? Because he types in all caps? Let's see. Did she see him pull up, pull away, go around, and block, and come back again? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, this is the thing. I've gone through this 100 times already. So, the DoorDash driver, to deliver something at 3:59, likely, is here at like 3:58 or something, right? I mean, so that's right around the time that he was parked somewhere over here, because he hadn't left yet. At 3:58:23, he goes by this camera here. So he's right there. That takes like 5 seconds to get there. So, that's where the DoorDash driver is. And then Kohberger, he's already out of there by 3:58. He's driving, right at that point at 3:58, he's going to be taking off. 3:58:23, and then he makes his way around to here. And then at 3:59:04, he's right there. Okay? He's right there. At 3:59:04, spotted on this camera. Right there. That's at 3:59:04, and that's the moment that it says that the DoorDash is delivered, right at 3:59. So that's 4 seconds later. But he must have seen the DoorDash driver, or a driver, a vehicle, whatever he thought it was, because a minute 10 later, he's right back here again going the other direction. So he comes down here, and I think right there he does a U-turn, because now he's concerned about that. Drives up here, and he's still looking while he's driving, and he sees that the lights are on. There's still this car parked over there, and at this point, this is at this is at 4 o'clock and 14 seconds now. He's right there, and if you look at the DoorDash, the pinging, what do you call it, the key fob sound, 3:59:46, 48, 51, so that's when they're getting out of the car. So, when it says delivered at 3:59, I don't know if that's accurate, because I think she got out of the car and then hit the key fob, and then from 3:59:51 to 4 o'clock and 27 seconds, that's when the delivery was actually placed at the door, and there are 36 seconds to do that. And then 2 more key fob sounds. So he sees her there, and so because of that, Kohberger drives like this. He doesn't go in there now because he knows there's a live, awake person there. So he drives around, all the way around like this, comes around, and then right here is the Ridge Road camera that picks up Kohberger's vehicle missing a front license plate. And that's the fortune, the incredible luck by having that DoorDash driver, is the only shot of the vehicle, really high caliber shot of him missing a front license plate. There's another one at this A&W that shows the same thing, but this one is crystal clear. So then he drives around and makes his way back up here, and then at 3, I'm just doing this by memory, 3:55:56, is that right? I mean, excuse me, 3:56:55. I missed those around. So 3:56:55. But another thing that's sort of interesting about that is at 3:53, the headlights are northbound on King Road. But then he goes right into the complex. So there's 3 minutes of time where the car did not leave back south. So at 3:53, he drives around like this. I mean, I'm just going back in time earlier now. But isn't that crazy? Like at 3:53-ish, he goes over here and he parks somewhere. And then eventually he comes back like this, right? Right. So, anyways, when he drives by at 4:14 and drives all the way around, I was right. It was 4:04. I keep messing up the 3 o'clocks and the 4 o'clock. Thanks, Sassy Suist, Suist, and Alley Cake. Yeah. So at 4:04:56, that's when the vehicle enters, like, I think it, let's see, south on King Road, right? So it was driving at 4:04:20. So just think about it like that. The DoorDash is there at 4 o'clock and 28 seconds, if you believe that's her, and you're clicking it before you get to the car. So she got to her car at 4 o'clock and 30 seconds. And then just 4 minutes later at 4:04:20, the vehicle is spotted right back here driving. So if we move it back here, it was like this. And then it comes right into this area at 4:04:56. It's seen right there. Then at 4:05:31, so I mean, it's possible that when the vehicle came in this time, you know, you could look at it and say, was the DoorDash driver still there at this time? So he comes in like this, and we know, based on other videos I've made and looking at the documents, that the vehicle came back like this, and then does a 3-point turn and goes back to check on something. See, that's the interesting part, is that, does that mean the DoorDash is still there, or is he observing the aftermath of the DoorDash driver? Like, who's awake, etc. And so, is the DoorDash still there? And if so, that makes it a hell of a lot crazier, because then he goes like this, does a 3-point turn, and he drives back this direction, and then around, and then he parks again. Now, we've randomly thought maybe he parked down here. You know, we said that because, you know, the rumors about Bethany Funk. You know, I think he most likely parked back here, but just for the sake of this argument, let's say he parked right there at 4:08, because he comes around at 4:07:47 right there, and then parks his vehicle right there. And then if he did, and he starts doing blood spatter mitigation, and she's in her car with the lights off, maybe just doing whatever, then she would see him changing. But I just think, oh God. And then I just think that the other time frame makes the most sense at 3:58, right around there, because that's right before the DoorDash delivery. But I guess you can't rule out the 4:08 parking and him changing clothes if he happened to park down low like that, and she was still there 8 minutes later. Yeah. Thanks, Michelle H. Okay, we're currently at 1/11 of the goal tonight. She locks her car because he's parked right there and she saw him. Oh. Yeah, but he's already gone. That's not why she would hit the key fob. He's gone. See, look. We just all got to get this memorized here. So at 3:58:23, he's already leaving. She doesn't hit the key fob until 3:59:46. So he's out of here. 3:59:04, he's way back there. Over here, and then he comes back at 4 o'clock and 14 seconds right there. See, and then the key fob sounds again, and maybe he could tell that she was still there, but then see, that's why it doesn't make sense that it's 4:07, because he would know that that was the car that just pulled in, but maybe he was looking to see if there was lights moving around or something in the house, and he was still willing to risk it. Yeah, and then one of the things I wanted to also say on there is, like, you know, we brought this up the other day, but she says right here, law enforcement, well, she doesn't say it, but law enforcement identified the DoorDash delivery driver who reported this information. Okay, the DoorDash driver called law enforcement and said, hey, I delivered food there. So she was proactive about it. It wasn't like somebody had to go find her or anything like that. She called in. Hey, thanks, Zozo. Note to self, don't ever show up on Court TV again, or you'll have one of the worst nights you've ever had. My God, you guys. Let's see. Got that. I sent these pictures in too, but they didn't use them. So I thought this would be a good one. You know, as long as you don't have the license plate or whatever, you could go like this and say, we parked right there, and then she was right there. So you look up and see what I mean by 4 or 5 feet up in the air. All right, thanks, Mary QC. We're all on this the same system here. She obviously wanted to help. That was her concern. Yep. It's good habit to always lock your car doors. Yeah, I mean, I think most people do that. And a lot of cars beep when you unlock them too. They do the same thing. And that's what hers has. Yeah, I think we have it right in here. See, last night we spent all this time getting all the different moments where there's a car sound in here. But yeah, like right in here, listen. I mean, it's possible that's not her car, but man, what are the odds that another car seemingly has somebody getting out of their car and then returning to their car? Right around the exact time, within a minute. So this is the time that they're walking to the door. You could even imagine them going to the back, walking around. Right now you're kind of up to the side of the house. You're basically almost there. You're almost to the patio. So right now, let's say you make it to the patio, then you turn around. I don't know. I mean, it could just be very well that they made it to just the front door. But after you drop it off, you're heading to your car, you're going to hit the unlock button. So here it is, right there. See, twice. So it actually works, even if the delivery is in the back of the house. All right, we have no new channel members, no coffees, and we're languishing at 10%. Oh, let's see. I'm just trying to see these DoorDash. Does this more? I think it's Plunger has some of this.
Judy.
I think we already did that.
Is
one,
her
No, we already. That's the one we did. We have that one. That's no. Yeah. There's a lot more video. I'm not playing that. All I care about is the DoorDash comments. You know, not DoorDash, but when she met the Coburger comments. That's it. Yeah, we already have all the rest of that. I have the whole video. It's a wild one tonight, Alley Cake. I don't know what's happening. It's weird. Mm-hmm. I think it's crazy when you order something on Amazon and you get it like 2 hours later. That's weird. It's cool though, you know. Yeah, so I mean, the way that it works right here is at 3:57:27, the headlights shine on the exterior of 1127 as the car's turning, and then at 3:58 it's leaving, passing 1112 King Road. So that means for 56 seconds the car was back there. Some of it's driving time, but that's only like 15 seconds. So the rest of the time the vehicle's parked. And then at 3:59:04, the vehicle is southbound on Walanta Drive, which is back here. It's leaving now. It's heading this direction. And then it turns around and it comes back, and it's right there at 4 o'clock and 15 seconds because something bothered him. Right there. And then, you know, we had the 3 key fobs right before that. And then after the car's driving there, 14, 13 seconds later, the key fob sounds again, so the Elantra is driving over there, and the DoorDash driver would still be there, so he didn't go in there. So then at 4:01:30 and 4:01:43, which is like this Elantra, after turning around right here, drove all the way around, and then right here, it's spotted like up in this area at 4:01:30. And then it's spotted right here at 4:01:43. And then at 4:04:20, the headlights are seen north on Walanta Drive. So what that means is the vehicle from right there, after driving by there, drove around like this. Could have went like this too. Up around. Like this. And then up and around. And then at 4:04:20, it's seen right there. Then at that was at 4:04:20. Then at 4:04:56, the vehicle spotted right there. And the way they have it is right when if you drew a line, see the corner of that building right there? That's when you can first see the vehicle. So if you were just to draw a line from where the light is, which is slightly off center, right there. Not sure what's going. Oh yeah, I have to turn that one off. Oops. So if you draw a line from right here and go like that, that's the moment that the headlights are seen, and that's what law enforcement used in their in those documents when they described it. So probably about like right there. So that location is 4:04:56, and then at 4:05:31. See, this is another one of those interesting moments. At again, so it was 4:05:31. The vehicle comes back here after driving by there, must have noticed something again, and does a 3-point turn back here. And it kind of stops over here for a little bit, like 10 seconds or so, then it backs up, and then it comes back this way. And then when it drove that way, the lights from that vehicle hit this house right here, which is 1119 King Road. And you can see the lights going up and down. And they did say that the vehicle, in the original document, that the vehicle looked like it was trying to turn around or park, which is sort of interesting. I mean, is that the moment, too, that she was still sitting there just at 4:05 something? But then it drives over here and does another 3-point turn. You know, drives in. I guess it goes like this, and then this direction. And then all the way back, this time and around. And then this is when, at 4:07, he goes inside the house. And that's, or at 4:07:47, it starts to park. So 4:08 is likely when the car parked. That's my Gray's estimate. 4:07:47, it's turning. And then 4:08, it's the time where it parked. And then I think, likely didn't even go inside the house for 2 or 3 minutes after that. getting ready for his return to the vehicle. And then at 4:12 right here, that's when Xana Kernodle is still on TikTok. And maybe that's when she put the message Queen on a comment that she made. And then at 4:17, voices or a whimper followed by a loud thud. It's actually closer to 4:18 there. And I think right around that time, 4:18-ish, Kohberger leaves the residence. Then at 4:19:07, Dylan Mortensen, or Bethany calls Dylan Mortensen. And guess what? Kohberger is outside at his car getting his bloody clothes off at this point. And then at 4:20, Dylan calls Xana. So Dylan now is looking, trying to get hold of Xana, one of the victims. And Kohberger's still outside. And then at 4:20 and 28 seconds, Dylan Mortensen calls Bethany Funk. And they talk for 41 seconds. In the middle of their phone call, Kohberger speeds away at a high rate of speed at 4:20 and 47 seconds by the 1112 King Road camera. Don't you find that stuff interesting? And then right after that, right as he's driving away at a high rate of speed, and he's not really barely even out of the complex at this point, if at all, he's just right here at 4:20 and 47 seconds. He's right. I'll show you. So he's right there. He's like speeding away, and right there the camera picks him up at 4:20 and 47 seconds. And then at 4:21:05, he's right there. So he's really hauling around that corner. But in between that time, Bethany Funk calls Xana. So he's just still right there. And then you have all these other text messages and all these things going on, etc. What do you mean that's why? Yeah, I mean the spreadsheet, yeah, it's pretty amazing having this, because you can just absolutely see, and I think you can tell what Kohberger's thinking and doing, in a lot of these different time frames. Like why it's obvious that he knew that car was there. That's why he did a U-turn. It's the only time. Every other time he came in, drove around, went back here, did a U-turn, came back up like this, made his way back in. But because that DoorDash driver, he turns around right here and he comes up and he doesn't go in because he doesn't want to be seen by them. So then he drives all the way around, and that's the fateful shot of the missing front license plate. Then he comes back around, and then he makes it his way into the complex this time. But I have a feeling that the DoorDash driver is already gone at this point, and now he's checking to see what that DoorDash driver was doing. So he pulls over here. He may have driven by and seen the lights on in Xana's room. So he comes over here, does a 3-point turn, comes back, and he's trying to see what's going on. It'd be really interesting though if the DoorDash driver was there when this vehicle was trying to do the, when it says he tried to turn around or park. I'm not sure that's exactly what he was doing. It might just be that he went down the hill. They didn't mention it in any later documents. But then he goes over here, and then he does another 3-point turn. So he must have, wanted to see. Obviously, he has to get back over there. But he saw what he wanted to see. Now it's go time. He's going to do it, man, because their lights, probably when he came back over here, he saw that the lights were off or something. And then he goes, boom. Now he's going to park. Then he gets ready to go. Then he goes inside the house and kills all the victims in, I think, in like a 6-minute window. Maybe even less. Thanks, Lil D. Appreciate it. And thank you, Jeannie Gaia Goy. There aren't cameras over there. Yeah, so apparently they can tell where he didn't go, or where he may have gone because they know where cameras are, and if he doesn't show up on those cameras, for example, when he drove out, he doesn't show up on this camera, and the only way really out of there is to go like this and then down, at that time anyways. Let's see. July of 2022. See that road right there? That year, I don't think it made it out. And I don't know if it does now either. Yeah, so that's still stuck. But, I mean, there's a way that if you drove over here and kind of went out like that. But they believe he came out and came down here. And then he went, they think he went here, but the fence is saying there's 2 cameras over here that didn't pick up the vehicle. So I think there's another way out in this area where he drove around and came out near Blaine here. Brazen he was on a mission and was going to accomplish what he set out to do no matter what. Yeah. Anyways, I was just sort of surprised on the show how they didn't seem to well, I mean, not surprised, but everybody seemed to read something. I didn't see the part where she saw him and got a really good look at him and can identify Kohberger as the person. I mean, she kept saying I have to testify against Brian, so maybe that closeness in sound seemed like that. But I don't know. I didn't think of it like that. To me, it was sort of like, yeah, she saw the Elantra and what the car was doing, you know, like an actual observing of the car parked, and maybe she saw somebody in there but really couldn't make him out. I don't know. But I don't think she's either a really incredibly like powerful witness, but her not being a witness doesn't really affect the case that much at all. So that's the thing. Right, she didn't say that. Man, I just wish they would allow maps and things like that, where you can really sit there and explain things. I don't know. And by the way, nobody owns, like I don't think the surveillance footage, like Dateline has the rights to own the surveillance footage. It's an actual exhibit at trial. It's going to be available for anybody. And I also don't think body camera footage you can say, oh, I own this one. I mean, it's not yours. I mean, anybody can get it on a FOIA request. Now, it doesn't say it in any of the documents, Cindy. Nowhere. That's just somebody you saw on YouTube saying that she said that. Yeah. No, she didn't already know who he was. Yeah. She knows who he is because she's watched the case and knows him. He's Brian Kohberger. She's probably, she probably joined all the nutjob Proberger cases and channels and was like, oh yeah, I have to testify against Brian. Right. Well, then your brain's not. You didn't hear that, Cindy. It doesn't say anywhere in there, anywhere, that she saw his face in any documents or anywhere. So I don't know where you got that from. Well, anyways, that's what I was going to talk about. It just seems just so dead in here. So frustrating. Oh boy. It's okay. I know. You sent me an email. There's more to the video. Yes, we've seen it. I've seen it all. I don't need to. I know you sent me the email. The body camera footage is much longer. However, I have the portions where she says, mentions Koberger. All the other stuff we've all seen. It's just a longer. It's a 50-something minute video where she's pulled over and they're questioning. I don't care about any of the other stuff other than the Koberger portion. The rest of it is just like that's her own. I don't even know why videos like that are allowed. No, you're going to be wrong, Daphne. Okay, she doesn't know him from town. Let's see. Saw something that said she looked at his face. No. I don't know. I doubt she's a pro-burger. I mean, she could have been. I mean, calling him Brian is a little weird. Because it's such a big case and everybody knows about it. I'm sure because she delivered it, she's followed it absolutely closely. Thanks for sending that, though. T Moral 3. It's just, we've seen all that video before. No, you said you guess we'll see at trial. All right. You guys have any thoughts on this, or? I know we've talked about it. I just thought I'd come on because I was just on the CourtTV and had some thoughts, and that's what I wanted to do. But hey, you guys, if you're out there, if you have the ability to help support the channel, I'd really appreciate it. You guys are the only. There is no other support. I do the shows. You guys support the channel. There's no ad revenue on these live streams, and basically I rely on you guys because I basically mostly do live streams. I've had to make videos lately just to make up for the difference. I mean, you can see tonight, look how just everybody is. I don't know, man. I don't know. You guys know what we're doing here, and it's just really disheartening. Thanks, Mallory Beavers. Yeah. We have 0 new members. Linda, not sure where there's none. She may mention more in the videos. I don't know. Oh, yeah. I don't know if she mentions more in the videos. I mean, people have listened to the whole videos, and they don't mention any other times in the videos other than what we have when she mentions Idaho. I mean, I guess it's possible. Yeah. I think that works, doesn't it? Don't I have I think it's open. Sandy Shirley sent a coffee. Thank you. That's funny, Linda. Just like I always say, Linda Moldenhau of the Cattle Mutilations and Crop Circles. Well, it doesn't mean that you actually do cattle mutilations. I just say the same thing every single time, right? But yeah, you know what, you guys, we have 0 new channel memberships gifted tonight. We are currently at 1/8, not even that, of the nightly goal, and 1 coffee. You would think it would be better than that. No, you didn't see. You hear people saying that she saw him. There's in no documents does it say that. Yeah, I mean, she saw him. she says something. I mean, I just played it earlier. She says, let me find it again. Hey, Mallory Beavers, gifted a membership. All right, at least we can say we have one. Very cool. I was supposed to testify against Brian next year. Yep, the man that killed all the girls over in Moscow. You know, it's amazing. In the comments, I said, oh, yeah, I guess it is over in Moscow. I even made a post in the comments. Every single person who made a comment under that video go, gosh, great. All I said was, I don't think it says under Moscow. That's just what my brain hears. I don't think it says that. And people go, oh, great, you thought it said... No, I don't think it said anything. That's just what I heard. It didn't make sense to me. Thanks, Dixie Hippie. Yep, the man killed all... Yep, the man killed all... killed all, and then went and then all the girls over in Moscow. Yeah, well, if DUI on my record, they'll kill me. And now I have to testify. Big murder case, too, so yeah, because I'm a DoorDash driver, so yeah. The murder case with the college girls. I'm the DoorDash driver. I saw Brian near the house. Yeah, so meaning, what does that mean right there? I saw Brian near the house. Does that mean like he's out of the car? The thing is the only time he ever exited was 4:08-ish, or 9, or 10, 4:10. So if she sat there for 9 extra minutes, and that's why he was doing what he was doing in his car, then she could have seen him near the house. However, that's not what she says. Her next sentence is, I parked right next to him. Okay, so... Hey, thanks so much, Sandra Dieterman. Hi, Gray, caught you live at long last. Oh, I thought, okay. I thought you watched the CourtTV appearance. But they'll post a video tomorrow, and hopefully the freaks are in there and can battle the absolute morons who every single time just bash everything that I do. It wouldn't matter if I literally developed a cure for a disease and posted it in there, they would say the same thing. Yeah, it's either part. I don't hear the word I, but you can pretend that it said that. Yeah, you just listen to it. It's just, I guess could be like a whisper of an I. I mean, most people say that. Now, when she says I parked right next to him, does that mean that, he was stationary and she parked? That's what it would seem like. Most people would say, yeah, I parked right next to him, when you're the one that parked next to them. If they parked next to you, you would say, he parked right next to me, because you were already there. However, who knows, right? I mean, you might just say, if you're just kind of in a situation like this, like, yeah, I parked right next to him, I was parked right next to him, something like that. I was parked right next to him. She doesn't say I was parked right next to him. Right? Parked right next to him. And so, what does that mean? Hey, thanks so much, Sandra Dieterman. Very cool, very cool. For 5 more freak memberships. All right. I was just on the segment. So it was kind of, the whole thing was about the DoorDash driver. I was on for a 15-minute segment. I think Mike was on for 30 of the minutes, and then they had, I think, Bloom and came back at the end, something like that. I think I could have answered all the questions that they had, though. But I see, I'm not how does this affect the trial? Maybe it's better to have like a trial person on there, a lawyer, an attorney, or a law enforcement. Yeah, it's horrible over there. It's horrendous. I mean, it actually makes me I mean, I think they do it on purpose, but I try to avoid reading the comments, but I end up doing it, and there's always this one just total dip crap over there with these, takes a picture of like, it's just the same stalkers over and over and over again, and it's just never ending. I do screen grab them all for future use. Yeah, well, she could go off on him because he, in his book, here's the thing, I'm listening to his book, and in the first 30 minutes or so, there's multiple errors in there. The things that aren't true factually in the case. And then later on, it's like, it's really interesting. You're like, oh yeah, things you don't know about. But then you always have to wonder at that point, are these things that are really interesting that I don't know about, are those true too? And I hate that feeling. You want to be able to just go, yeah, and say what they're saying, interpretation is one thing, but like a factual element is another. I don't know what Nancy Grace was saying, but why is that, Pamela? What do you mean? Why does he have blood on his hands? I don't get it. Thanks again up there, you guys. Yeah, I mean, I think it's an interesting book because I think some of the stuff he does have in there is probably worthwhile, but when you listen to it from the beginning, you're like, well, yeah, that's not true. That's not that element isn't real. Hey, well, thanks, Sandra. Appreciate it. The funny thing is some people don't think I do details enough, but what I do is I focus on detailing the things that matter. And then when you go, well, how do you know what matters, Gray? Because what I do is I say, what value does knowing that have to do with finding out what happened in this case? And when I realize it has nothing to do with that, and then they say, well, how do you know it has nothing to do with it until you look into it? That's what I'm saying. I mean, it's like Dylan Mortensen and Bethany Funk are the perfect example of that. I don't have any reason to believe they have any knowledge of or had something to do with the killings at all. So after that, I don't care any more about any of the things about, like, I have them in the timeline and things that, what was going on. I think that's interesting. But I'm not going to sit there and dig around like, ooh, what was the app that she was using for the, because she has nothing to do with it. They have nothing to do with anything. It's a complete waste of time. You could spend months digging around on that crap. And you should see, people have, there's a whole industry on YouTube of hating Dylan Mortensen specifically, over and over and over again, accusing them. And I hope that they keep track of all the videos. And what they'll say is, Gray, you're doing the same thing. You're accusing Kohberger. Well, Kohberger's been accused, okay? He is the killer in the case, okay? I'm just going to tell you that. That's my opinion, of course. But he is the killer. I have no doubt at all. Now, see, it's weird how they try to make a comparison of the two. Dylan Mortensen has not been accused of, nor has Bethany, of anything whatsoever at all. It's complete, especially when you're using their names over and over and over again. If you said roommates, a roommate did this and that, you could probably get away with making a video about it or something. But you don't do that. You guys call out their name as the person. Yeah, I don't know. Well, he had inside sources. And they were also on the Dateline episode, so I wonder if when they say we have sources, I hope that's not the, I don't know if that's the same source that they're referring to. Yeah, they have nothing to do with anything. Bethany Funk and Dylan Mortensen. And for me, it makes complete sense as well as why they didn't even call 911 until earlier in the morning. Because I know exactly what the feeling would be. Something like you're freaked out, you hear this stuff, you haven't seen anything yet, and you don't want to verify the scariest thing that would ever happen to you. So you don't want to verify it. So you're calling around, nobody's answering, but you're still like, yeah. And you're not going to want to go check, because checking would mean that your worst nightmare might come true. So why not avoid seeing it? You know, just you can rationalize, oh, okay, we have a lot of parties, you know, and then you go downstairs and you see her over there, and it looks like she's passed out at that point. Then in the morning time, you're still nervous when, you know, like, yeah, we still can't get a hold of him, and I don't want to go up there. So they bring a friend over. He goes up and sees him, and he goes, get out, get out, get out, get out. The first time, apparently, he did the same thing twice. And then he goes, we got to call 911. Then Bethany Funk calls 911. Then Dylan gets on the phone, and they're all, you know, chatting, and then the 911 gets them to go up again. And the friend didn't let them see again, the Hunter individual, the best friend of Ethan. He didn't let them see again. And that's because they didn't want to verify the fear that they had. However, they didn't want to call 911 either when you don't know if something really bad is happening. You know, like, okay, my roommates are drunk and they passed out. Do I call 911? You know, it's just, I don't know, man. I wish people would think through it. It's so obvious. It just doesn't even seem weird to me. All right. So when you think of, I tell this story a million times, but like when I was a kid, I was at this camp, you know, and up in the mountains at Timothy Lake, and they said, hey, they told Bigfoot story after Bigfoot story after Bigfoot story. So I go to my tent, and I'm trying to sleep, and I start hearing in like at 3 in the morning this. And I was like, oh my God, it's Bigfoot, man. I just really thought it was Bigfoot, and I just stayed there as stiff as just did not move. And I just kept thinking, it's Bigfoot, it's Bigfoot, it's Bigfoot, it's Bigfoot, it's Bigfoot. And I don't want to open, but I had my eyes closed too, because I didn't want to open my eyes to see Bigfoot, you know. And then it turns out in the morning it was just people snoring, you know. But at the time, I didn't want to see Bigfoot. Imagine seeing Bigfoot and then knowing that what you were scared about was real. Right, so there you go. I think that's a similar thing. And yeah, they're older, sure, you know, 19, 20. Oh yeah? Cool. But hey guys, we're on one of those lulls again. We're currently at a third of the goal tonight, so if you have the ability to help support the channel, that would be awesome. And thanks Shayna there with the coffee. It doesn't look like we're going to have the, you know, some of the people that support the channel with larger numbers tonight. So if we can all just kind of, you know, smaller amounts all together, that'd be awesome. We're only got 8 days left in this month. Not even that, 7. This is a shorter, you know, 30-day month. Similar to the 2 girls thing down there. How old? I don't know, like 11 or something, maybe 12. Doesn't really matter. It's the same concept. Isn't there one on? There's something on currently on another. Oh, it was a 3-part something somewhere. Somebody just mentioned it in the chat, like a 3-part on Paramount or something, right? What is that? 3-part series on Paramount about Koberger. Okay. Cyber Sleuth, the Idaho Murders season. Is that it? Oh yeah. Or was that already something? Now that was in February. That was last year. That was a long time ago. I don't know. I think I watched it. The Amazon one looks like it's gonna be pretty good. Pamela said, "Gray is the realist." All right, that's right. That's right. Maybe I should change my channel's name. The Realist. When I was young, my friend's house was broken into. Then our garage was another time. Someone opened my parents' window, but we had an alarm. Grew up fear of intruder and planned how and where. Right. I'm not sure. I mean, I'm trying to tell a story that's different than that. I don't really know what you're trying to say. Right. But you don't know if you would have actually wanted to leave if there's a person walking around in the house that you didn't know who it was. So you don't know if you would have ran out of the house or not. You might just lock yourself in your room. Let's see. We've got... I think a lot of people have those stories where they're sort of frozen. It's on night. It's on night in Idaho. I don't know. It's called Night in Idaho. All right. All right. So you might have just not wanted to see any. I don't know. I'm just trying to go from a perspective of. I bet there's people out there, you don't want to verify the fear that you have, so you avoid it. Obviously they kept calling different people to see if they can get a hold of them, and that probably heightened their fear, but they still didn't want to exit their room to go see what they may be fearing, because once you see it, it becomes real. It's just, like I said before, it's the same thing as when you have a missing child. The moment you call the police to say that you have a missing kid, now it's a real thing, and it's really something that's happening. Before that, you can always hope and think, okay, they're coming home right now. They'll be home in 20 minutes, so they're coming home. But the second you make that phone call and you finally call the cops and say, hey, my child's missing, now it's real and really scary and freaky. But man, this is, how do we get the ball rolling tonight? Try to get to some numbers. I mean, this is the thing is, I feel like I'm relegated on my shows to try to keep the ball rolling and things going, because we've got so many things. Like for example, we have a scholarship fund that we put $6,000 a year into for students. We've given way over $100,000 to a DNA fund for identifying Jane and John Does, and we have more cases to fund. And it makes me nervous that we are in a position like this where we do these shows. I'm doing the same shows that I've always done, and I have to constantly go, hey everybody. And then you watch these other shows where they just sit there, ramble on for hours, meaningless, and everybody's supporting those channels. And so I'm trying to figure out what I need to be doing on this show to make the goal tonight. Is there something special that... I mean, I don't know, man. We've already given $248,000 in 5 years, and... this month, hopefully, we'll get 2,000 in. To get to 250, $250,000. That's pretty good. I don't know. Ruthie. I don't know if that's true or not. What are you talking about, Cindy? Are you talking about the case we're talking about, or just something totally different? Mm-hmm. Yeah, the slider wasn't locked. Yeah. Yeah, he may have jimmied it open, but when the cops got there, it wouldn't lock. That's why they used the chairs to lock it. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'm not really even sure how you would do that. Okay, good for you, Cindy. We're not talking about that though, you know. So you just took over the entire chat. Let's see. See, Bigfoot doesn't exist. All right, you guys, I'm going to get going here. Thank you all for showing up tonight. Really appreciate it. Thanks, Allie Cake, K-Me, Only Chevys, Dixie Hippie, Allie Cake, Sassy Suist, Michelle H, Zozo, Mary QC, Jeannie Guygoy, Little D, Mallory Beavers gifted a membership, Dixie Hippie, Sandra Dieterman, and then also she gifted 5. Very kind, very kind. Then we also had Shayna, Sandy Shirley, and I think that's it. All right, thanks everybody. We'll see you guys later. And until next time, be safe out there. Yeah, I've been doing this true crime thing for quite a while now. And during this whole time, I have not seen one person that is a crime dissector, plug rejector. I'm a certified human lie detector. Gonna get ya on a stretcher if you try and play me like an old projector. Crime sector is my nectar. Professor Grego's gonna give another lecture. Crime collector, freak connector, and I'm always gonna be a pup protector. Fool deflector, interceptor, and I'm meaner than a specter with a vector on his pector. With all respect, y'all, just remember I've a temper fucking check ya. I have no agenda, I'm no pretender, and I'll serve it to you straight without the blender. And in the end, I'm gonna send ya on a mission to reveal the true offender. Yeah, so I'll just get right back to work. All right, everybody?